Well, what's up, everybody? This is Mike, and as usual, joined by my man Rob in Middleburg, Florida. What's going on, Rob?
Hey man, not much.
Yep,
It's
yeah,
freaking, I tell you what, you and me just the other day, we sat and did a podcast. Was it Monday? And
yeah.
Monday, I was out here and I was going to mention it while we were on. I could see my breath the whole night. So it got down to probably around 46 degrees overnight, Monday into Tuesday. And it was really almost unpleasant. I had to have a sweatshirt on over a shirt. So I was out here in my outdoor studio doing what I do, just sitting here talking, and I could see my breath all night. But the weather has changed, and today it got to about 81 degrees, and right now it's probably about 60 right now. It's just beautiful, just freaking beautiful. Chamber of Commerce day.
No, that's nice, man, because, you live in Florida where the weather's always nice for the most part, except for when those damn hurricanes come through, which is like once or twice a year. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one thing. I mean, Florida's great, man. I would love to move there. It's like the biggest. It's the ultimate retirement state, right? That's where everybody goes to retire. Um, I I think there's an abundance
right.
of senior citizens that live in Florida, as opposed to any other state. But man, I cannot deal with the hurricanes, man. People get their houses blown down, they build them up, then boom, blown down again. I could not live in a hurricane state.
It's not nearly as bad as you can as the media would have you believe, or as you're making it out right now. I've lived here for 20. I guess I got here in 97. So what is that, 25 years? Right around 25
Hmm.
years. And I've been through probably 8 hurricanes, and I lost one time. I lost power for 4 days. That's the most that's ever happened. Of course, now that I've said that, maybe something will happen
I'm
this year, but
gonna knock
in
on wood for
24
you.
years, I've been through about 8 of them, and nothing's really ever happened to. Not very much damage has happened to my house, my yard. I live pretty far inland, so if it gets a chance to get here, it's just kind of peters out when it gets here. So
Yeah.
we did have really bad flooding one time, but I'm really high and dry, so the flooding didn't bother me. But it really did take a toll on our, our community.
Saturday night, high and dry.
That's me, bro.
I had to,
Saturday
bro.
night,
I had to.
high
That's
and
one of my
dry.
favorite Def Leppard songs. So what'd you do this weekend, man? Throw any bags
This
anywhere?
weekend I did. So on Friday, Friday night, I did a little. What did I do on Friday night? Maybe I did nothing, because on Saturday I had a benefit tournament that I was the director of. Went over about an hour away, Lake City, Florida. I put on a benefit tournament for a middle school boys basketball team. Donated a little bit of money to them. They were there running the concession stand as well. And then, I'm sorry, that was Saturday. Yeah, I said Saturday. And then Sunday morning, we had our regional for November. So we had about
Mm.
72 or 73 individual players come out.
Who ended up taking down singles,
Divisions.
doubles, everything you had going on?
Matthew Sorrells took
Okay.
down advanced singles, and Matthew Sorrells and his pro partner RJ Crawford took down doubles as well. So
I
Matthew's
thought
a two-time winner.
I thought Sorrells was a pro. I thought he was ACL
He
pro.
is.
Oh,
He
okay.
is. Both of them. They're pro. But so in regionals, the pros play right along the advanced, in right along in the advanced division.
Okay.
So, and when you become advanced and you ever think you want to advance to be a pro, you get a chance to play them every regional. And in Florida, there are 31 pros or PDC members. So we're tied with I can't remember what other state, maybe Texas with the 31. Maybe it was
Mm.
no, maybe it's North Carolina, something
North
like that.
Carolina.
No, I'm sorry, it was actually Ohio. It was Florida and Ohio were the top two states in pros, 31 each, or
Oh,
PDC.
okay.
So pros or PDC. So we have enough to do a 32 man bracket here in Florida for like maybe a state championship or something. So I've actually reached out to Trey to see if we can do that this year. Do a pro bracket. for our state championship, so the advanced guys don't necessarily have to battle through the pros.
Yeah. I mean,
That's one of the complaints I've heard.
yeah.
As a director,
Yeah,
it's
but
one
that's
of the
how you get
complaints I've
better, though,
heard that they.
man. Screw it.
I agree.
Yeah, that's how you get better.
They just,
Play the best.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, advanced and pro, it's just a very fine line that separates them. So
Yeah.
if you really want to be a pro, if you're battling through the advanced division, you want to be a pro. There's no reason that you wouldn't or shouldn't play those pros on a monthly basis anyway. So
I'll play a pro anytime, any day, anywhere. I ain't scared.
Yeah.
Bring it on. I might get whooped, but I don't know.
Right.
I'm kind of jealous of you pros, man. I want to be back there at some point, but I know I don't have it right now. I just know. I know I don't. It'll take a while to get back.
What do you think about this pro division? Because as you were getting your stripes, as you were getting the whippings you were getting growing up and playing in this game, there was they recognized you as a pro, but you didn't have your own events. You didn't have a pro national where there was 256 of you or anything like that. So what do you think of the way this pro division has changed the game here in the American Cornhole League as compared to the way you were brought up in the game, and maybe you've even qualified as a pro before through your points that you earn?
Well, now they have, like you just said, they have events catered to pros. That wasn't a thing back in 2012 to 14 or 15 when I was a pro with the ACO. I'm sorry, in 16, I think. Yeah, as far as I can remember, I don't think that Frank ever created an event like that. Now, the ACL, they reward their pros, and I agree with it. I like it. It's a great idea. You achieve pro status, you should have certain things just for you. And I think these pro events that are the opens and stuff, not the opens, but the shootouts, it's great, man.
Yep.
Everybody gets recognized, and pros are really getting recognized now. Facebook, every time you turn around, there's somebody's got a ACL pro page. There's sponsors, videos being cut. I get notifications. I got one today, the best of James Baldwin. Clicked on it and watched James make like 4 great shots, and the ACL does all that for the pros. It's pretty cool. It puts them in your face, man, if you don't know who they are. So
right.
Yeah.
And like any other league, I mean, there's 752 pro NFL players throughout the 32 teams, 53-man roster. Maybe that's 1,500 people, but
yeah.
You don't necessarily know every single pro that's on every single roster, and that's what, being 256, you do have an opportunity. It's a little bit more intimate. You do have a little bit of an opportunity to get to meet these pros too. So it's really cool to get featured the best of James Baldwin, but you could have the best of almost anybody. And I really think I've been saying this for quite a while. I think this is going to be the most exciting pro season of the ACL history this year, just with the way I feel like the quality of pros this year is it's different.
Well,
so
I mean,
I'm actually looking forward to really making a splash. Especially, I've got a brand new doubles partner this year, Matt Corley from Virginia. That's Jay Corley's brother. So we're really looking forward to making a splash in the doubles, brackets this year. I've been working hard. I've been practicing, trying to get my PPR, at a different level, trying to make bags, change my throw just a little, just so, more bags go in the hole. So, yeah.
Well, I think another thing now, these pros are getting recognized because of all the airtime on ESPN and CBS and NBC. They're starting to get recognized by fans, at events, and they're getting actual fans. We're talking like fans of professional athletes, just like you go to a basketball game, or no, actually you're at the airport, you see an NBA player, oh, that's that guy, It's starting to happen now in the cornhole world, which is surreal to me. But I think it just goes to show that the level this game has taken off in the past 2 years, 3 years, maybe. But yeah, man, it's awesome. And by the way, thanks for asking me to be your cornhole doubles partner. You know, a sticky side team would have been great, but I get it.
Hey, we still have those opportunities, man. It's you know,
Well,
when it becomes a professional, I have to team up with a pro, so it's one of those things. You said you're not ready yet. You're ready. You're getting back to that level. You're just not ready yet. So.
I got to figure out who I got to bribe to get my pro status here, but
you need to. First thing you need to do is get healthy. Get that hip right. Get everything right first, and then, and then work on your game again. Because I know right before you quit, man, you were really doing some stuff. I saw you had some videos in your driveway where you were throwing some good bags.
Yeah. Hopefully it's muscle memory, man.
And I couldn't believe it when you quit. I really couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It was the timing, it was what was going on in the world and the cornhole world at the time, and I needed a break. I need to step aside. But, I've showed glimpses of the old bird, at a couple of tournaments. But what's killing me is my inconsistency right now. Like, I'll show a pro a glimpse of being a pro again, but then I'll turn around and throw like an amateur the next frame. So I just got to get that out of my system. And like you said, I got to heal up. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. Right now I suck. So I'll get back at it. Right now I enjoy this studio stuff that we're doing. So hey, man, I got this to keep me busy in the meantime. Hey, man, on today's show,
it's definitely fun, man.
And one of the funnest podcasts we've done so far. We've had some great ones, man. This is number 13, I believe. But one of the funnest, and if not funniest, was the one we did with the girls from Girls Throw 2. That was something else, man. I'd never met them before. I just heard about them on Facebook. I listened to a couple of their shows today, and they got great chemistry, man. And it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean it was good, man. I've shared the story with you about broadcasting with Michelle. I had the opportunity to broadcast with Michelle on the ACL Digital Network through the World Championship as we were running through some brackets and women's doubles, and we just sat and for about an hour and a half we got to stick together on a broadcast with Trey Ryder was doing the producing at the time, running the breaks through with commercials. But it was just fun, man. It was light, it was fun. We were still talking the game and just interpreting it to people, and it was just fun. I never really had the great opportunity to hang out with Whitney very much, so tonight was really enjoyable, though. I can't wait for everybody to see it and just laugh like we did, man. It was fun, and let's not take away from the young lady we had sitting in with us producing for the first time too. That was fun. She really added to the show, and I'm glad you decided to ask her to come on, because I do believe she was really a great addition.
Yeah, so what Rob's talking about is Laura May. This was her inaugural episode as producer, and she did a great job, and it helped me out a lot because, usually I'm producing, I'm sitting behind the computer and, looking up stuff and toggling between screens, and it was nice to sit back and be able to relax and actually focus on the guests and what they're saying and ask questions off of that. And because sometimes, man, when you're doing a podcast and you have to produce and host and keep things rolling, you lose track and you don't pay attention to the guests as much. And that was one good thing about bringing her in. And she also is my co-host on Hammered, which is my other podcast. So it was kind of natural for her to come in and, throw in a word or two when she needed to.
Now, you typically produce Hammered. When you guys do Hammered, is that your job to produce that as well?
No, I sit behind the computer for Hammered. Yeah. So she's got more of a vocal role in that one. She's real good when it comes to that. But yeah, she did great. I mean, she knocked the home run with the girls. Man, they loved her. exchanging numbers and Instagrams and all that stuff. I'm like, hey, man, me and Rob are here. We're here. Hello.
Right. That's what we're good for. We're good for being here.
Yeah, but, it was fun because sometimes it felt like we were actually guests on their podcast. And because
that was weird for me. I'm not going to lie to you. That was a little bit weird because the dynamic was awesome. It was incredible. It was fun. It was light. But I did feel like a guest. I felt like they asked us as many questions as we asked them. And I thought it was just great chemistry. So I'm looking forward to more of that.
Well, without further ado, man, let's go ahead and show everybody what we're talking about. This is The Sticky Side, episode 13. Myself, Rob Chismark, and we got the girls from Girls Throw 2, Whitney and Michelle. Check it out. We'll
this is the.
I mean, I don't know how low. Stop it! Don't even joke about that.
Like I have a hard stop at I guess 7.
I have a hard stop now if this isn't the actual recording.
All right, so we're rolling, right? Are we recording?
We are recording.
All right, we're recording, so we're going to go ahead and start here.
I need to hold, please.
Why?
I'm just making sure that's you. Okay.
Yeah, that's me. What? You shouldn't have to touch those.
Well, I need to turn me off because
don't touch those.
Okay. All right.
Me?
Buttons are fun. Recording is hard.
Okay, now.
No. Okay. Yeah. Now you cannot speak by not speaking and leave your mic on. I mean,
I want her to be able to input in the show. Really, I don't mind.
That's what I told her, man. We might throw a
I
little
like
something
that.
at her.
Yeah, when there's somebody in the background, you only hear them a little, every once in a while, but they're a staple of the show. I like that for you, Laura.
Yeah, you gotta have that producer that you come to when you need facts or something. Some quick look. Don't say it. This is it. We are professionals, Laura. Don't say it. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mike, and as usual, joined by Mr. Rob Chismark in Middlebrook, Florida. I screwed it up, didn't I? Middleburg. Look, I don't have it in front of me today, Rob.
That's all right. I'm still here.
What's going on, Rob? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. The weather's finally warmed up again. We had an 81-degree day. It was beautiful, sunny. No wind. I loved it.
Oh, that must be nice, man. I just put is it too early to put up Christmas decorations? Because I put these inflatables up in the front yard, and I'm kind of worried about the wind, man. Is the wind going to destroy them? What's the life expectancy?
Is it Clark Griswold?
What?
I hope it's Clark Griswold.
No, they don't have them. And if you find if you find something that's movie themed or something like that, like I was trying to find Cousin Eddie because I really want to put a dummy in the front yard, emptying the shitter. I got to if I got to make it.
That'd be pretty sweet. Well, they do have. I just went to Walmart today. They got Clark Griswold.
An inflatable?
That's one of the inflatables. Yep.
Oh, I might have to look into that. Yeah, that holiday season's coming up, man. I can't believe it. It's right
I don't think it's too
corner.
early, though.
Yeah.
That's what you asked. I don't think it's too early.
No. I mean, I got a cop lives across the street from me, and he texted me and was like, "Hey, man, my wife said you need to get off the meth. It's not even Thanksgiving." I was like, dude.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, man, we got a special treat today, Rob. We got the ladies from Girls Throw 2 on the show. We got Whitney, Nagel, Ingram, and Miss Michelle Thompson. How are you ladies doing tonight?
Couldn't be better.
Oh, hey, thanks for being on the show. I know you ladies probably have a busy schedule because I know how podcasting is. You're constantly trying to book and constantly doing research and all that. So I appreciate you all taking the time out and joining me and Rob.
Of course. This is going to be fun. I'm excited. Just from the warm-up talk, you guys are clearly a fun group.
I wish I could have participated in that, but I was completely focused on trying to get the software up. But, I mean, I agree with you. This is definitely going to be
something he's always trying to do.
Yeah. I swear to God, now that I have a producer, and by the way, this is Laura May's first chance to produce a show. Thanks for joining us, Laura.
Thank
Let's do
you.
it.
Boy, what an unimaginable honor.
Yeah, well,
I've really made it.
Entire life change just witnessed in one evening.
My parents are really proud.
well, your parents don't even listen to the podcasts.
My parents don't have
Well,
the
right now.
attention span. It's not on you. Promise.
So those that don't know, me and Laura, we have another podcast together called Hammered. We've been doing that one for about 1.5 years now, and to this day, her father has not listened to more than 5 minutes. Like, way to
Not
work
that I
on your
blame
dad.
him. I have definitely
You guys gotta
said some
up your
shit
game.
on Hammered that I don't go into a Hammered show going like, will my parents hear this and should I censor myself? That thought never crosses my mind until we post a show, and then I'm like, oh my God, are my parents going to listen to this?
No, they're not.
They're not.
Well, that's a great plug because now I'm going to have to go listen because of what you just said. Now I'm
There
interested.
you go. You've got how many episodes I think we're 72 or 73 episodes in.
Whoa, I got a lot of catching up to do.
Some catching up to
No,
do.
but we got to work on the cornhole shows here. Yeah, this is the thing, right? And I have this big dream of just having a channel on YouTube that takes off, So we've got 2 podcasts on it right now, and now Laura is going to get another co-host and start one on December 8th, right?
6.
December 6th? Yeah. So it's going to be a female-driven podcast with female guests, catering to that end because me and Rob, we do the guys and
Oh, you
I
want to
take that back, rewind.
Yeah.
You will do not put me.
Somebody's gonna clip. Yeah, somebody's gonna clip that sound bite, and you are done for.
Hey,
That's the new intro music.
all press is good press, right?
I do the boys.
Oh, we should we do the boys, I think.
And there's your plug
I didn't hear any of it.
Girls Throw 2. Okay, let's get
headset is
serious
gone.
here for a second. So talking about
What?
yeah, we do every once in a while, Rob. We'll get back to the crazy stuff here in a minute. So let's talk about Girls Throw 2. Who was the innovator? Who came to who? How did it start? Tell us the story.
Well, I will take credit for being like the originator of it, but what I originated would not have been anything had it not been for Michelle. I started it not even trying to actually start a company. I literally was just, my husband kept asking me to go to blind draws and these leagues, and I was like so freakishly scared to do it. And it's my nature that if I'm going to get comfortable to do something before I do it, I have to like research the heck out of it and kind of teach myself as much as I can. So I went online purposely looking for cornhole related content that was kind of driven to and towards the beginner and the woman. There was nothing. Like I could find nothing. So Sean Asp and I had exchanged a couple of things. He had answered my lower level questions at that time that I had posted in Addicted to Cornhole. So I knew he was a friendly person who had knowledge about the game. I asked him if I could have a quick call. I called him. He's like, there's not anything out there like that. Because I was like, where is it? I just want to find it. I'm looking for something. It's not out there. Given the timing of that pandemic, creating cornhole to be like one of the top quickest growing sports in our nation, because of all the new ESPN coverage and the fact that there's nothing out there, there's a need in this market that's not being met. I was raised by like business owners. I saw some potential. So I knew I wanted to do something. I just didn't think I was going to do it that quick. Talked to Sean, and Sean says, yeah, you should do something with that. Then he tells me the next time I talk to him 2 weeks later that I'm going to be a guest to talk about a girls driven venture on his podcast. And I was like, well, I better get something going to talk about because I have nothing. So we went on overdrive. I reached out to women regionally diversified of different skill levels across the country. We created a little bit of a team real quickly. Within that team, Michelle stood out as somebody who we personality jived really well. And also she is highly talented at many of the things required to run a business that I am not. Mm-hmm. So my strengths and her strengths are not one and the same. And I think that was important. So I realized I needed somebody to come up and be my partner. I didn't want to be a team leader. I wanted to share it with someone, because how the best things are achieved. So I reached out to her. I offered her some equity. Now we are 50-50 in Girls Throw 2. And what we have done, I would say, in the last 8 months is like pretty shocking to us.
Wow.
But it was
really.
Yeah, we just started. I mean, literally, I reached out to Michelle, I think mid-April.
Yeah, March.
And no, our first podcast, I think, was mid-April. Yeah, so we probably reached out about 2 weeks prior when we first were like, you and I are going to do this thing. We're going to do it right.
Like
there have been so many trial and errors that we have done, and there have probably been more errors along the way than successes. However, we learn from each and every one of them, and we never make the mistake again. We're both very, I think, driven, but we're not. We know what we're smart enough to know what we don't know.
Yeah,
we're smart enough. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me interrupt you right now because you said there was errors. Can you think of one right now where you were like,
oh my God,
shit.
10. Which one you want?
Biggest one.
The biggest one is the initial team we went to go build. We were kind of just like, because we were kind of nobodies, we were so happy that somebody was willing to come on the team. I didn't realize, Michelle realized this after the fact, but she wasn't there in the beginning. You know, when I first started it, is that even if somebody comes onto a team and they don't really contribute anything, it's still energy taking. So even if you're just an inactive member of a team, that sends a message to the rest of the people that like, we don't really have to do anything, or this isn't really a participatory situation. So that was my initial first error, is that I wouldn't say vet, but I didn't really, I don't think I asked the right questions when figuring out who to bring on to our launch team. Lucky for me, I was spot on about Michelle. Yeah. So, and that, but I mean, everything from, you know, just what works marketing wise. Like, we just launched a Kids Throw 2 this week, and we've over flooded the market with different bag options. You're going to get less sales when people have so many options. You know what I mean? So it's just a trial and error thing. But I will say the one thing we have stayed true to the course. It's great if we can make some profit on this. I mean, we really, really, I mean, who doesn't want to retire early on an island? Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's what me and Laura's waiting on.
Right? I mean, one day we'll all be there sharing a pina colada, hopefully, maybe. But that's our goal. I mean, just personally, but you got to justify the hours and the effort you put into anything, I think. But what I will say is that we just really love the sport. And more than that, we had a come to Jesus moment recently where we were like, it's really not just about throwing the bag in the hole and how much we want more women to be playing this game. Us in our personal lives, Michelle and I's, cornhole has fundamentally filled voids, helped ease depressive moments, strengthened our marriages, helped ease feelings of loneliness that we've suffered. That if we didn't have cornhole, we probably would have been a little bit lost. So it's bigger than that. We have a passion. We're always passion and purpose over profit. We got to keep the lights on, and we kind of do want to retire one day. But like, other than that, I think it's been a cool thing, and we'll never ever take the dollar before we do what we think is beneficial to the ladies out there trying to throw.
And I think your podcast it's a great outlet for the women, because cornhole is primarily dominant by the men. Okay, it's just like most sports out there. And like you said, you feared going to a blind draw. Why did you fear going to a blind draw?
I didn't want to let anybody down, and that it's not really logical, because unlike baseball and basketball, where muscle and biology come into play with why you men can be better than us at it, throwing a 1 pound bag 27 feet into a hole should not be more feasible for a male than for a female. So it's silly that we went in thinking that, but I think it's just every blind draw has predominant male population.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but a lot of the people that play in those are
not nice
at hiding disappointment when they get a new player.
Yeah.
Or they think they are, but there's subtle energy and like not so subtle eye rolls when they find out that we're their partner. That we sense that, guys. We're women. We pick up on things.
Oh, there's nothing like going to a blind draw and you are the guy that always picks the guy that can't hit the board. And then you look at them and they're like, oh, God, here we go. At least when
so at the end of the day,
when you make a comment like that, at least go in the corner and do it. Don't do it out in front of everybody because every blind draw has those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
well, and the problem is, I was gonna say people are watching you, even if you go in the corner, because there's like these 3 women that come every week but never play, and I asked them and I saw them play like it when we go to like a park, and I'm like, why don't you ever play like on Wednesdays? They're like, oh, because I hear what they say when they get people like me, like they don't say it to the person, but I see them say it to their buddy next to them, and I don't want to be that person. Like everyone's watching you.
Yeah, we had a girl here the other day. She was amazing. Never plays at our leagues. Just a girlfriend of one of the guys comes with a couple of the other girls. They never play. She ended up winning second in our singles blind draw back here. And then she got second in the doubles one too. She made her first time she threw a 4-bagger. I was like, why are you not throwing with us at league? And she said, well, I know whoever I get paired with here, they're my buddies. Like if I let them down, like, screw you, dude, get over it. But like at league, it's going to be a stranger and they're going to make me feel stupid. And I was like,
well, that person needs to go. Get them out.
Right.
Move them out.
Yeah. Here's your $10 blind draw entry back later. Bye.
We don't need you.
Hey, Rob. Hey, man, if you've got something, you're going to have to just like interject because I got all kinds of stuff, man.
Go ahead, man. Keep going.
I just don't want you to sit over there under your bang sign.
Well, I would love to. I would love to ask Rob because obviously, he is in a relationship with somebody who is
not the host.
Well, I want to know. I just want to know if April has ever experienced any of that in her early days.
You know what, April probably never felt the experience of that. Not necessarily did she not experience it, but that stuff doesn't bother her. Because she does see it as a $10 blind draw. And back when she started playing, there were $5 blind draws, so it was even less important. Mm-hmm. And when she started playing, she was already good enough that she didn't let anybody down. People were scared to play with her. So, yeah, she may have experienced it the other way.
She's just good. That's the problem. She never gets it because she's good. Yeah, I love it.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, so when people got her, they were –
there was no eye rolling.
Or how good they were. Right.
Yeah.
They didn't, they cheered when they got April. Right. So, even if she was the new person, the first time she ever went to that blind draw, they were like, oh man, I got this girl. I've heard about her. Yeah. So
I remember
she's been good for a long time.
Yeah. So I remember back when I first started playing around 2011, there was a girl in North Carolina. I think she quit playing. Her name's Crystal Mann.
Oh, she's good.
She was the best cornhole player I ever saw in my life. If Crystal Mann was at a tournament, it was over. She won, basically. Like I think she quit about 5-6 years ago, but she retired on top. She's still one of the best female players out there. I remember seeing her, and I was like,
I think she could pick up a bag now and still be.
Yeah, probably. She, as far as like the female players, the first dominant player I ever saw was her, and I remember I drew her in a blind draw in Charlotte, some kind of crazy blind draw where, you draw a partner, then you play 2 games, then you draw another partner, play 2 more games, and draw another partner. And I drew her my first time, and I was like, right, really? This kind of crap format, I draw Crystal Mann, and I have to give her up after 2 games?
But she gave you some momentum, I bet, in those first 2 games.
You know what? I think I ended up winning 2 with her. Then I lost out 0-2 the rest of the time. I was like, "Yep, perfect."
Crystal, where are you?
But yeah, I got a question. I did have a question, and I thought writing it down was going to help.
It was a good one.
Well, I was going to ask. We were talking about April. Was it just raw talent, Rob, or did she just come out of the gates? Great.
No,
or...
we did a lot of throwing in the yard. It was probably 2015 when we started. And we started in the yard, and her her main idea of playing was throughout the whole year of us raising our family. We've been married 27 years. So
congrats.
The whole time we raised our family, we were in the military together, then we got out, and the kids took over, because just like you said, the athletics of the children, the academics of the children, everything with the children. And during that whole time, I was also doing stuff. I was playing football, and I was playing softball, and I was playing basketball. So I was doing all the kind of stuff that, I thought I was supposed to do, and also coaching my daughter. Well, at that time, 2015, both of the kids had just graduated. They were out of school. So she said, you know what, let's do something together. So we got out in the yard and we started practicing, and she was terrible. Like she threw the flop bag. She didn't know, she didn't really know how to throw a flat straight bag, nothing. So we'd play in the yard and I was, I was patient with her because I was okay. I wasn't great. I was okay because I had just really started too. But when I first started, I was spinning the bag and I was throwing the right throw. And I was trying to teach her how to do that as well. And we would go to we would play to 21, and I would beat her so bad that I would just let her keep her score. And I would just go until she got 21. And we'd figure out how many times I beat her by multiplying by 21. You know what I mean? So I'd be, it'd be 84 to 21, or it'd be, it was just crazy. And all of a sudden, one day she was practicing on her own, and she figured out the flat bag. And once she figured out the flat bag, her accuracy and her, being straight and accurate was already something she could do. So when she figured out that flat bag, she kept wanting to change away from it.
Everybody does.
Her, you gotta stick to it. You gotta stick to it. And then she became what she became. 2017, she won a world championship alongside Rosie Streaker in women's blind draw. So
Rob, we hear this story. We interview a lot of women. We hear this story to a T so many times. Didn't start with a flat bag. My husband had a flat bag. He made me do a flat bag against my will. I got worse until I got better. Yeah, and this is one thing I think is very interesting, because we say there should be no biological reason why women and men can't be equally as good at this. I think it takes women longer to get good at this sport, and here's why. They did, have you ever seen Mythbusters? That show, Mythbusters?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So they did one about to try to myth bust throw like a girl, like that whole concept. Mm-hmm. And they men, the formation of their natural throw, just when they brought them of all ages, girl versus boys, the accuracy could be the same, the speed could be the same, but the way that throw looked in terms of how it propelled through the air, was much more conducive if you're playing baseball to a boy, the boy's natural throw. So then they switched them, and you had to do your non-dominant hand, completely equally as accurate, equally as perfect. So I almost wonder, I don't know, I can't figure it out if it's that parents just get their little boys throwing earlier or teaching them how to throw earlier. And so it's just built over time of practice, or if it's just biomechanics, how men are built. But men always get the flat bag far quicker than the women.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I always threw that way. I never did the flop. I never threw it that way.
Wait, so you didn't have to learn a flat bag? You just your bag was always like flat.
It wasn't flat. It was probably diagonal, but I never threw that way. Every time I see a new player throw, their bag tends to go, I don't know what you call this,
tumbling.
Tumbling. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like the roll that you don't want to roll.
The roll you don't want. But I think because I used to love throwing a Frisbee. I used to do a tiny little bit of Frisbee golf. Nothing crazy.
Disc golf. Never call it Frisbee golf.
Oh my God. See, that's how much I didn't play.
An avid disc golfer will curse you out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, disc golfers, don't come after me. It's not my sport. But I will say that it is something that I enjoyed. And I remember the first time I ever picked up a bag, I thought was kind of the same thing. I'm just throwing from down here. So I think that's why I maybe.
Yeah, I've never been able to throw a Frisbee to save my life.
It's actually a fun sport. I kind of picked it up. But it's crazy. It's crazy addictive, just like cornhole. And I've learned I don't have enough time to pick up all these addictive habits. So I kind of put disc golf on the back burner for a while.
Why do you think it's so addictive, y'all?
What?
I think
Cornhole?
everything
Or
I think we're
Cornhole.
always just looking for something. I think we're always looking for something. And when you get to walk around a cornhole game, it just becomes, the people are all so they're cool until you draw them in a blind draw and they give you that eye roll. But when you get there, they're very welcoming. Everybody's very welcoming. They just want more people to play. It seems like
it's easy to feel a part of something, right?
Come out there. Yeah. And then so I think the addiction is not necessarily that you want to throw bags, but you want to be around that because try to come out and just practice on your own for as many hours you spend at a blind draw. You just aren't going to do it.
And,
I think there are so many addictive components to the sport. Like the fact that you can work on your own game, but it's also got a team dynamic. The fact that anybody can win if you're on your best day and the person who always beats you happens to be on a bad day. Like that's like a crazy reinforcement schedule. You're like, maybe it's like a slot machine. Maybe this time,
and it's. I'm not going to say it's easy to become good at it, but it's not as hard to achieve, like a winning style or a couple of years in. Who was it? Said they'd only been playing for like 4 or 5 years. I think it was maybe Jay Rubin said he was only playing short period of time, and now look at him. He's like, oh God.
Yep.
We interview kids all the time. They've played a year and they're
phenomenal.
Yeah. You know what? We were talking about this on our last show.
Trevor
Caballero. Yeah.
He's our partner for Kids Throw 2, which launched this past Monday.
He is like 6 or 7 years old, right? And he is lunging when he throws the bag. And he is just as good as anybody.
That's his silhouette. That's his silhouette on the Kids Throw 2.
Yeah, on Kids Throw 2.
Him and his brother.
Yep.
Okay.
And there again, we talked about why we started Girls Throw 2. It wasn't profit driven initially. It was we saw a need and we wanted to help meet it because we believe in what the sport can do for families. And so then when the DraftKings thing happened with the ACL, makes total sense that they picked that partnership because gambling is very important for growing the sport, but and it's also very frowned upon to bet on children. So I get why they changed the age limit for sure, and I don't fault them at all. But then you left all this elite talent of children who really didn't foresee a route to greatness within the sport until so far off now. And what worried me about that is you have these 11-year-olds, these 12-year-olds who could be such great stars in the sport eventually when they reach 18, but they're going to give it up for competitive soccer or competitive baseball because those give us trophies. They have, they have scholarship opportunities, things like that. And so our goal with Kids Throw 2 is just to get these kids a place where they can showcase their elite talent, where they feel like a part of something, which is why we all say we love it, the cornhole, world. And then also, hopefully it'll trickle into getting this into schools and leading to scholarships and things like that.
Wouldn't that be great if like the NCAA picked up cornhole and you could get a scholarship on that? And who knows, with the exposure cornhole gets now on the major broadcasting networks like ESPN, CBS, NBC, who knows? And potential like USA cornhole is trying to get Olympic teams and stuff. So who knows what the future holds? Do you two play?
Michelle and I?
Yeah,
yes, we play. We play every.
ACL
look at my. Can you not see behind me?
Yeah, I figured you play, but are you ranked in the ACL right now? Were you ranked last year?
Oh no. Okay, so here's the distinction: is that yes, I play daily, every day, probably about 3 hours a day. I don't know if God just did not intend for me to be a very competitive cornhole player, or if I wasn't built with the personality. And also, to be honest, the desire to get to that competitive level. I love playing cornhole recreationally or at my local league. I went to one thing in Erie. That's where I met Rob. I had a full-on panic attack. I hated every moment of having to play at that. Sheila Roy, thank you very much for making me, by the way. I was miserable. It wasn't fun. I like to go to those and support the players who do enjoy that level of competition. I will never be one of them, and I think that's okay.
How does this work out with you guys? Michelle, you're in California, and Whitney, you're in Maryland, so you guys couldn't be further apart. Do you find the distance? Does it hurt any, or are you guys?
It actually works.
Just time zone.
It works. No, the time zone works perfectly because I'm a morning person and Whitney's an evening person. So, like the other day, she texts me. It's 6:30 in the morning. I'm in bed. I just woke up, and she's like, "Can you do the live at 7 at what time would it have been? 9?"
No, it was at 10 o'clock.
Would have been 10, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "Well,
you're like, I barely opened my eyes just
because
now.
I'm still in my pajamas." I said, "I'm still in bed."
It's 9:30 your time. It's 6:30 my time. Get your shit together, Whitney. That's like basically what she said.
I'm laughing because we are in the exact same place at 3 hours apart. Like, you know what I mean? She's just getting her started. I'm just getting my day started. So it's perfect.
Meanwhile, we're going to bed at the same time too, because I'm more of a night person. And so we end up going to bed. So our work day is traditionally not the same 9 to 5. Maybe more for you, Michelle, because
for me, it's very traditional.
Right. And it's not for me, but I wouldn't have it any other way because that's how I function best, I think. So that's great. The only problem is that I think, and also technology, this is great. Like, I feel like I see Mish every day.
Well, we pretty much do.
There is no lack of team bonding, team synergy, or anything like that. I mean, there will be times my husband will walk through and he's like, are y'all recording? And I'm like, no. We're literally just like silently on a Zoom doing stuff that we have to do as if we were in an office together.
Yeah, that's true. Like we forget, like we're just on. And then I'm like working and I'm like, oh, Whitney, blah, blah, blah. Like just, if we have a question, they're just
like you would if you were in a cubicle, you know what I mean? Next to your neighbor. So it really doesn't, I wish honestly I could be in person throwing with her more. She came out to East Coast, for the very first time, maybe 2 months after we started this business. We fell in love with her family. Like, I don't just love Michelle. I love her husband, Nick. I love her son, Rome. You know what I mean? We are a family now. So I wish we could see each other more, but we see each other at every national event, every big cornhole thing, you know? And what's great is she can hit up the ones that we aren't both going to. She can hit up the West Coast ones. I'll hit up the East Coast ones, and we cover them all. Mm-hmm. So it's actually kind of a benefit, if you ask me.
How often do y'all record shows? Do y'all do 1 a week, 2 a week?
We've restructured that season 2. It's much better now.
We used to do like sometimes 8 or 9, and then I was like, well, we had so many banked that I was like, we don't actually need to record, so because we use a calendar software, so people could just book whenever they want. And then so I changed it so that we can't take more than 2 per day. So now we're recording more like 5 a week.
Oh my God, y'all are beasts! 8 or 9 a week.
Well, you have to think is that we have our segment. So our format of our show is that we have about 10 to 15 minutes of what did you do in cornhole this week, Michelle? What did you do, Whitney? What's going on with your family or personal life? What's going on with yours? Just so we are somewhat relatable and people know who we are, because I think that's important. And then the next segment is a player spotlight. So that's usually a pro or an advanced level player, or every once in a while, it'll be just somebody in the cornhole industry. And that's about 15, 20 minutes. And that's one recording for that show. Yep. Then we have our intro recording for that show. And then on the back end of it, we put a guest who's an expert on something we believe can help women, families, people, cornhole players in general.
So you're doing multiple recordings for one show and edit it all. Okay, I got you. That makes more sense. I was going to say, if y'all doing 8 to 9 shows a week, man, tip my hat.
Yeah, we don't get to do it like y'all do, like where it's just all this one recording and then you got a show. That's awesome. We don't have a Laura.
I did.
No, we do actually. We have a Brad.
What was that, Rob?
No, we have a Brad. He's a great producer, by the way. Shout out, Brad.
Oh. Well, Rob was saying something, so I want to get to Rob. Well, I don't know.
Remember, it was probably not important.
No.
Well, we never got to hear Michelle's. We never got to hear Michelle's throwing history. Michelle, do you throw?
Yes, I do. I run a league as well. So I like to throw. I don't have any aspirations to be a pro, but I would be happy to be an advanced player. Like, I would love to work up to that point. I just don't want to be a pro.
She podiumed twice last week, guys.
Nice.
That's amazing. That's good. Now, I know that Nick has been working pretty hard on his throw as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him going through some bags. He's trying out just about everything. So
Yeah, he's finding it.
Good.
Nick is as involved in Girls 32 on some level, ideal-wise, as Michelle and I are. He is an asset to our team. He should really be on the payroll, to be honest.
Well, I think he should after this show. Maybe you'll hear it. Be like, that's right.
All right, Nick. Nick, we'll talk.
Write me a check. So I was listening to your episode 1 podcast today, and I believe it was Whitney. You have radio experience, right?
I do, but that is so funny. I'm going to go after we finish this. I'm going to have to go listen to it because I got to hear what you heard. We were different back then, for sure.
Well, you did.
But yes, I used to host a radio show in Philadelphia called Food Talk Philly. It was the best gig, y'all. It was basically my intro into broadcasting. Is I got offered this job to host this show where I would get paid to go eat for free at restaurants and then come back on the air and talk about it.
Talk shit about them. They never.
And it was. There's not many jobs that are better than that. Unfortunately, geographic desirability is like really important to my life happiness, and Philadelphia was not providing that. I needed water.
How many cheesesteaks did you eat during that?
You know what? You would think that you would eat a lot in Philly, but to be honest, the cheesesteaks in Philadelphia are a little overrated. I have a little pizza joint down here that I think makes a cheesesteak that's just as good.
Yeah. Let's hear your radio voice. You still got it?
No.
Come on, Whitney. Let's hear you go.
Welcome to Food Talk Philly, foodies. No, I'm just kidding. We did not
not sound like you.
No, I know. No. Well, it was different because that was radio, so it was live. And then you had this producer in like behind this glass who's like, and like giving you hand signals. You're trying to concentrate on your guest. It was a little bit more difficult and a little more high stress, but I got to eat for free and talk about it and get a paycheck. So I didn't turn it down.
Perk.
But it gave me the broadcast bug. That being said, Michelle is
a podcaster.
The one who, no, she is the one who's better at like the hosting, the timing of things, the just in general, keeping a storyline. Like I go on a rant, you know what I mean? I'm just like, a little ADD. Probably should take medicine. Like I'm just a little all over the place.
No, I get it. I like it. I feel like I'm a guest on your show right now.
It's always funny when you get podcasters on a podcast.
Well, you're actually our first one. So this is an experience for me, sitting back and listening to you go, and I'm like, okay, this is how you do it.
Hi, this is us.
I would probably be the same way on another podcast, but
it's just hard to get out of the mode.
Yeah,
it's different too because if you're, her role as a radio host or whatever is different, like in the sense that you do have to take control and that kind of thing. I have experience being in news segments where you have a 3-minute segment. Right. So I had to be very succinct with my responses. Like I don't have time. I wasn't going to get any words in if I didn't sit there and actually think about, okay, what's the only things I need to say right now?
Yeah, and I just think she's energetically calmer.
Well, Michelle, you had a podcast, right?
Yeah. This? Yep. I technically still have it. I just never had anything to it. I'm a little busy.
Well, tell us about that.
It's called Binge on This. So I for the last 13 years have been helping women with binge eating, emotional eating, and body image and weight. So I started a podcast so that women could get advice about their bodies and weight that wasn't rooted in dieting and deprivation and basically body hate and shaming. So that's where the podcast came from. And sometimes I would just record things I wanted to talk about. Sometimes I would bring on clients, and sometimes I bring on just total strangers and just coach them right there live on their body issues.
She also raps, you guys.
What?
We gotta hear something. We gotta hear something. You can't say
if you go to the YouTube Girls 32 YouTube channel, you will find an ACL Pro description rap where she goes through a multitude of the players and puts it to rap. It's very cool.
Can we put you on the spot, and can you give us a little bit of that right now?
Are you freestyling?
I'll try to hit
Sorry, Michelle.
No, I was going to say, I don't even think I remember any of the lyrics off the top of my head because I only recorded it that one time. I don't ever sing it.
You got to pull them up on a document and give us some.
If I had the lyrics in front of me, I would, but I couldn't tell you what the lyrics even
I didn't do my due diligence.
I
did not do the research necessary for this, but I will definitely check that out if it's online.
No, but she also sings. Like, she has a beautiful singing voice and things like that. She's just kind of like got that musical, creative.
Music, not athletics, which is why cornhole is such a funny thing for me to be into because I've never played sports my whole life. I've always been music. I did musical theater. I play guitar. I played piano, and I've always sung. But so to have any sort of talent towards a sport to me is still like mind-boggling.
I think she's so good because it's her nature to unpack why something's happening instead of just like trying to fix it without understanding what the source of the cause is. And I feel like that's really important to improving your cornhole game.
Yeah. That's another thing why cornhole is so popular. You don't have to be athletic to play. No. I mean, you don't have to be ripped and chiseled and run a 4.5 40 or, not even a 20-minute 40. You just go out there and throw a bag. And, that's what I feel makes the game so popular, too. Yeah.
For sure. And that's why we love the kids idea, too, is because my middle daughter, my oldest and my youngest are very, like, traditionally athletic. My middle one kind of struggles to find her athletic footing. And she never wants to join a team or do anything, but we want to keep her moving. And like athletics there is lifelong benefit to participating in those when you're young. Yeah. The only thing we've found that she will do and enjoys is cornhole. And so to me, that offers this safe space to participate in something athletic, so to speak, for all those children out there who might just feel less than because it doesn't come naturally to play football or tennis or basketball. So cornhole can be the solution for a lot of things, guys, that we don't even probably notice.
No, it brings a lot of people together. Everybody can say what I'm about to say that's been playing for years. I've got friends all across the country, different states from playing cornhole, all the traveling I did. I've been on vacations with groups from Texas and it's been a great experience for me over the eight years that I've been with cornhole, whether it's the ACO or the ACL. I enjoy it. I don't get to play as much. I think my passion right now is right here in this studio and doing this. And
you and me both.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. I'm gonna leave to play into the ACL Pro Rob over there, and he's like the boots on the ground, so to speak.
Yeah, Michelle too. You the two on the bottom. Yeah, I love it. Okay.
No, Rob's actually a pro. I am an intermediate player. To be clear.
Wait, here's something that's interesting about when we started, because we started so green. You just listened to episode 1. Like we were completely fundamentally different humans when it came to our knowledge of this sport and this game.
But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I mean, we were clueless. Yeah. But that's what we sought out to serve is the clueless within the game, right? So we got a lot of backlash that we came in pretty hot. We were kind of everywhere. And people misinterpreted, I think, at the higher level that we were like coming and telling people what they should be doing. No, we were not doing that. We were saying,
more like, I think the feedback, Whitney, was more that, who are these girls who know nothing about cornhole hosting a cornhole podcast? And we're like, to be clear.
We're hosting a podcast for people who know nothing about cornhole. Like, what do you mean?
We're literally interviewing experts on cornhole.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you asked about our trials earlier. Unfortunately, that was a byproduct of our situation, is that that was the population we served to provide for. That was who we were organically. Then you take 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, where we're doing nothing but researching, talking, recording about cornhole. We're not dumb. We learn, right? Like with this stuff. So we learned an insane amount about the sport and the pros and everything in a very short amount of time. And we had to step back and we realized, like, our content now, like when my mom's logging on and listening, she's like, it's over my head. You're mentioning names like Trey and Bernie. I don't know who they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so we really had to figure out what we were doing there. And that's kind of, we have something coming in January. It's called We Thrive too. It's for maybe somebody who's never played cornhole or is at the beginning. And it's really just health, wellness, and coaching at the very startup level. And we're going to use the pros who are on our sponsorship team to do the virtual clinics or the virtual coaching so we can help them make money. Because I'm sure, Rob, as you realize, travel is expensive.
Oh, yeah, it's a little expensive.
We have to help these pros be able to afford and want to travel to these events so that we can keep great cornhole being seen. But it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to see what April did when we went to South Dakota for that open, and we went to Mount Rushmore, and
yes,
she actually, we were just walking through and she just met some people that started asking questions, and she signed her shirt and gave it away, and it was a Girls Throw 2 shirt.
I know. I told her I need to get her a new one, just to replace it, because I love that. First of all, I love that Girls Throw 2 merch made it to Mount Rushmore. Can we just pause and reflect on that for a second?
Right on.
Right. But I think so. For example, you take April. April is somebody who is can be at the top of her game, and she might make it on a broadcast court, but she might not. But her ability to coach somebody new to the game is probably so far higher than somebody who did make it on that broadcast court, because it's very hard for I think a Jamie Graham to even understand why he's doing something every once in a while. Women tend to be more in touch with that, I think, just by nature. Sorry, boys. And she's not scary. She's not overwhelming. She's not intimidating. Women will want to learn from her. Sheila Roy being the same way, things like that. You guys they have massive amounts of knowledge to impart. And so that's what we hope to do, to allow them to do that and make money doing it.
Yeah. Why not?
So you don't always have to win that broadcast pot to make good money off of cornhole.
Right.
And like your podcast, it's got a great niche. It's the only one out there like it that caters to women. And I think that's important that, the women throwers have a place where they can go and, listen to you two ladies talk about cornhole and, interview some of the pros that are out there and our tournament directors, and just hear it from a female perspective. Not everybody wants to look at me and my spike hair and Rob's beard and listen to us talk about
but see, I think we
cornhole.
we equally would. The next thing I think we need is some more of this. Some more marrying up of the both types of feminine and masculine energy within the podcasts.
Yeah.
I think
oddly enough, when we look at our demographics of our our stats, it's pretty equal men and women, which was not something we ever thought would happen. We just figured we'd have all women and the men wouldn't necessarily be all that interested, but we actually have more male listeners than I ever thought we would. So that's just kind of cool. We're like, oh, okay. Well,
a lot of the male listeners say they listen to figure out how to talk to their wives about getting them to play or getting them into the sport, because they said, we've tried. She says no. She says no. She says no. So they're getting talking points for their next attempt, I think.
That's true. We have heard that. And also, I think just the style of it is a little bit different. I think, just as women, we naturally ask questions a little bit different. We format it a little bit different, just because we're women.
You had a good show idea. So I went through a few of your shows. I didn't listen to all of them, maybe first 10 minutes of a couple. And one of them, I didn't get a chance to finish it, but it was you were setting someone up on a date.
T-nuts. It's about to happen.
It's a good idea. Setting up people on cornhole dates.
Yeah.
How is there not a cornhole Tinder by now?
There has to be. If there's
because there's only 17 women.
This needs to happen.
We're working on it, Rob. We're working on it.
It's just the percentage of women. That would be so terrible for.
Well,
the
to
men.
be honest, the hardest thing we've struggled to find for this show is we just needed 3 single cornhole loving men.
Okay,
You would
that's
think
not
that
the
would-
problem. We've been getting plenty of applications from the males to date our female. The challenge we're having is that our matchmaker will not put this male in contact with our female unless she actually interviews them. She's not going to do it.
She wants to vet them.
Yeah, our matchmaker said all the males just keep flaking on that call.
I see this being a
that makes
lopsided
sense.
demographic. What's that, Rob?
I see that makes sense that the males are flaking on that interview. You know, they're like, oh, no.
They have a couple beers. They're like, yeah, I want to date Tina, and they get online.
Tinder, like you go to
let me get those digits.
Yeah, they go to like Tinder or whatever, and they swipe,
swipe. But then now you actually have to do something.
Like send a message,
Right.
and then you could be like, "Hey, girl," and like that's as much effort as you have to put into it. And then now we have a matchmaker that's like, "Look, you're not going to get anywhere near my girl unless you fill out this long application giving me everything I need to know about you. I'm going to run a background check, and I'm going to interview you personally." And they're like, "Whoa!"
Remember that bank you robbed in 1989? we know about it. No, I'm just kidding.
My first
They
question
should
would
be
be, hey,
dating
girl.
T-Nuts if they were robbing a bank.
I don't know. T-Nuts might be robbing it with them, actually.
My first
Love
question
that
would be,
girl.
hey, girl, what's your points per round?
Oh, well, hey, no, we asked T-Nuts if she has a minimum PPR, and she was like, I've been asked this before. I don't really know. 7.724.
If she don't even know what a PPR is, she's got to go. She got to go.
She does. She does.
No, but I will say, she also, T-Nuts is a little bit, she likes the bad boys, and that's not going to be what I want to set her up with a certain type of person. She is gravitating towards another, and the struggle is real there. But brings me to the question about Laura in the background, and I know we haven't heard from her in a minute, but I'd love to know if she throws, and here's why. Because the reason the Cornhole Connections makes sense is because anybody who's played the sport knows that there are two options within a couple. You either are both playing and you're both pretty equally addicted, or one person is playing and the other person is the most supportive, understanding human in the world.
Not me.
Okay, after she answers this question, I'm following up.
Wow.
Okay.
First of all, no, I don't play, but I am, however, to your point, one of the most understanding and supportive partners out there. So
makes sense.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Go ahead.
I love it.
No, what?
You said
What do you have
had
to
follow
say?
up.
Well, this isn't it. But when
Take the floor.
when I made the comment about if you don't even know what PPR is, she started taking her headset out and walking out. But
Because she doesn't know.
she doesn't know. Okay, so
Listen, my husband got into paintball. So my husband's like one of those guys. He goes through phases, like, are you guys know those people, they go through phases, like they get really into something for a certain amount of time and like it's all that, and then all of a sudden it's gone. There's a new phase.
Yeah, they buy everything. Yep.
Yeah. So before cornhole was paintball. I did not care to get to learn anything about paintball. I just didn't care. I was going to support his passion for the paintballing. I was not going to like buy the vest and suit up with him on, back out back. But
no paintball podcast.
Yeah, no paintball podcast, no paintball business. No. Cornhole I actually genuinely liked, but I have experienced that when he's very much passionate about something and I don't even feign interest, we're like living two parallel lives. Mm-hmm. And like the lack of connection there will show up. Now, if you have a really supportive human like Laura, that won't play out maybe detrimentally whatsoever. But it is kind of convenient, though, if both people love cornhole, right?
Yeah. So let me tell you this little short story.
I can't wait.
I had been out of the scene for a couple of years, and I decided to make a return at the ACL Worlds this past year. And Trey wouldn't let me play in advance because I've been out for so long, so he put me in competitive. So I played in competitive, some good games. I am like battling this one guy, and actually, I'm sorry, it was a girl. I wish I could remember her name to give her props on the show right now, but she was tough. And I go over there. I'm in the match of my life. First time back in 2 years. I can advance. I can move on. What is my support doing? She's over there playing with a baby. Yeah, you remember this? Like, she's supposed to be over there holding her sign saying, "Go, baby, you got this. Put it in the hole." She's like, I'm like,
Maybe she intuitively felt like that was going to throw you off your game because you would see her and get nervous or something. So she was like possibly showcasing her support towards
Look at
the baby.
Whitney. Look at Whitney.
I'll spin anything if you give it to me.
I like it.
Can we
Get it
mute
going.
Whitney right now?
I would like.
Oh, I got you, girl. I got you.
At this point, to defend myself, because we were on hour 8 of this tournament, and
Fair
there's so
enough.
many more like parallels to this entire
minor
event
detail.
that I'm not going to bore you guys with, but I was done. That child I
Dude.
was playing with was like the only glimmer of hope I had left in the day. And, you know,
Yeah,
The hope was me winning.
No, that child was like the Brussels sprouts at the HQ restaurant that I used to sneak away while we were at Worlds because I liked them so much, and it was just like silence. I would just go to the bar, I would like eat my Brussels sprouts, and I'd be like, just breathe. It's a lot. Worlds is a lot.
I don't know what that restaurant was called at Worlds, but it's delicious.
I don't know, but it saved my sanity quite a few times, as did my hotel room right around the corner. So I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, if you're going to go and support, Worlds might not be the best venue to be the
but if you made it
highest
through
level
that-
supporter.
But it was
Now you can make it through anything.
It was Tuesday. It
Oh my
was like
gosh.
nothing was going on
Oh,
in the
no.
competitive bracket. Anyway, you know what? I introduced her to cornhole. It might not be her thing. It takes a very understanding person to get brought into that world, you know, and want to sit around and watch their significant other or their partner throw bags for. Yeah, it's probably 6, 7, 8 hours. I get it.
bet Laura
I get it.
loves the 24-hour channel, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah. So that's another thing we got to talk about. You guys are going to actually be on that, right?
We are. Episode 3 airs tonight at 8 p.m. in 45 minutes Eastern time.
Well, Rob can probably
Nice.
tell us what that is, man. The ACL 24/7.
Yeah, tell us about it.
I don't have as much knowledge as I should. That's probably something you guys can tell us.
It's literally, guys, it's literally just a streaming channel. So Trey made the point, like, I like to watch cornhole at any hour of the day. I don't care if I already know the outcome of a match. I just like to watch how people throw the bag and, you know, their stance. And he likes watching cornhole. So I think there's a lot of those people out there. So the concept is just it's on a loop of past cornhole. And then with the exception of these 4 shows that are Monday through Thursday, they each have a different look. Michelle hosts the one on Tuesday called Around the ACL, which is really cool. That's one of my favorites, to be honest. Sorry, Bernie. I like Borderline too. But Around the ACL is a really good one. Like I really, it's more of like an ESPN vibe, you know, like a hot takes kind of thing. And Michelle does an excellent job hosting it. And I'm so glad she does that because it would be a silly shit show if I had been the one who did that.
And that's a subscription service, right? You have to pay to get that?
No, it's free. It's just aclcornhole.tv.
Oh,
to watch
okay.
it anytime for free.
All right.
Yeah. And so you can see it at any time. So 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, a new show airs. So Monday will be ACL Live. Tuesdays, Misha's Around the ACL. Wednesday is Borderline with Jeff.
Girls 32.
Wednesday's Third Girls 32, please.
Like you got so
Let's
much
not
going
forget
on
Girls
over there,
32.
you just can't keep up with your own.
And
stuff.
Thursday is Borderline. Yeah, and that's a cool one too. And then the weekends are just gonna be coverage of whatever event ACL wise is going on. If it's an open or regional or whatever. I haven't really figured out what they do on the weekends if there's nothing going on, but I don't think there's many weekends during
matches. Yeah, they just replay old matches.
Yeah, and so it's the same content you can get from our platforms, whether it be our podcast or our YouTube, but it's a day early, and that's part of our partnership. We have to share our stuff.
We're in a good spot right now because podcasting is so in its infancy. You know, if you take baseball and football, there's thousands of podcasts out there about those sports. Right now, you probably
there's
I
like
don't
6,
know.
5, maybe.
It's not more than 10, I don't think. I know.
10. I was gonna say.
No, way less than 10. I think
Yeah.
there might be 6 or 7, but one of them's not even a podcast. It's just like a YouTube.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, we're in the game right now in its infancy. So I mean, I think there's definitely a market for it, and I hope we can tap into it. I hope you ladies can. You definitely have tapped into it in 8 months. You know?
Do y'all TikTok? Laura should head up your TikTok.
TikTok, it's such a pain in the ass because you make
I
a
hate
video on your computer, then you got to try and get it off the computer to your TikTok, and you can't do it on. You can't access TikTok from a desktop, I don't think.
Well, I do from my Mac.
You have a video, but you can't use your account.
I know. I think most people just do it on their phone because it's like a millennial type of thing, and that's pretty much all they use as computers anyway.
You're the millennial, we're millennials.
But what's so like whatever mini millennials, I don't know what they're called.
But
what I'll say is like the attention span. Like I will go to watch a TikTok and it's like so short. I get really into it and then it just ends. And then a new loud one comes up.
The attention span of our younger.
I hate it, but that's where you get the most return on investment with your audience.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear TikTok is the way to go. But now I'm messing around with Reels on Facebook.
Reels are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Concept.
I'm still learning the Reels. Go ahead.
I don't know if you can monetize that the same way you can TikTok though.
Yeah.
Facebook.
YouTube's hard to monetize too. I mean, they have some high obligations.
I'd say a lot of it is about the numbers, right? So like if you can go to a company and say, when I post a reel, it gets 1 million views, you have leverage to make money, right? Like I'll hold your soda in my next reel or whatever.
Yeah,
there's always a way you can monetize.
Yeah, but here's the tough part is there is no logical reasoning to why one of them does great and the other one is just a complete bomb. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And so that's what frustrates me is because I am logic driven as a person, whether it be for marketing, business, or just in life in general. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. There's no reasoning. There's no pattern.
Right. And I don't think there's any research that you can do to figure it out either. You know, you could probably go grab all the ones that went over 1 million and they're different in how long they are and they're different in what the subject matter is. So there's nothing that you can do that becomes fact. And that's tough for people that are fact driven.
How do you capitalize on that?
Well, it's hard to create some sort of predictable outcome, which is how businesses work. Like I'm going to do this so that this happens, and I'm going to continue doing that so that this happens. And if you don't have anything, there's not a real algorithm that I can figure out.
But there's certain people who understand it. Shout out to T-Nuts, by the way, and Nicole Pratt, who are on our Nicole Pratt and T-Nuts, who is her name's Trisha. We call her T-Nuts. She's a little nutty, but in the best way. In the best way.
Yeah.
Like
T-Nuts. We didn't name her that.
This is T-Nuts. Let me tell you guys this. T-Nuts has an optimal blood alcohol content level in which she throws the best bag. She's a PDC member this year. She has a keychain that is a breathalyzer so that she can best replicate said blood alcohol level. That's T-Nuts in a nutshell if I had to describe her.
But she drinks anything to get to that optimal level.
Whatever it takes to get to the optimal level.
I've seen her with a $3 bottle of champagne before.
She was drinking hot wine in July on the way to the Virginia Beach thing at 9 a.m.
So she can't perform. She can't perform at her highest level until she gets her blood alcohol to that level.
Yeah, but then it's a sharp turn. Yeah. So she has to constantly be able to monitor it.
Oh,
you understand?
Okay.
I mean, she's very methodical about this, but it's a little nutty. So anyway, Trisha Naraki, she is from NEPA, Northeastern Pennsylvania. She's a great player. She's PDC this year. And then Nicole Pratt, who is the girlfriend of pro player Timmy Jonas, who is one of our sponsored players. Nicole was one of the first on our team and like one of the most important people that we rely on every day. And she is excellent at TikTok and now has started to utilize her skills in YouTube, and we're seeing massive return. So some people get it. It's just not how my brain works.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the YouTube thing.
Look at Laura. She's like posting a TikTok right now.
Dude, she so is. You called her out.
I actually do not
I see you.
the TikToking. I'm posting on my little Instagram story. No, I really feel like
What you posting about, Laura?
I invite you humbly to follow me on Instagram and take a peek.
I
think
will.
you might like it.
Tell me about your handle.
LauraMay.89.
LauraMay.89. All right. Look, I'm
Hooked
doing it
up.
now.
Hey, I got a question for you, Whitney. What are you
You
sitting
boys
in?
are screwed if we all get together. April, me, Laura, Michelle, y'all.
Oh,
Good
I
luck.
can't
You
wait.
should. You all should get together.
Right? Well, Laura's about to host her own podcast, so and she's a talker too.
Well,
So, oh
It'll
god,
be like a union. A union.
Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Don't call it that.
Whitney, what kind of room are you sitting in? That looks like I mean,
So this is I'm sitting in my actual garage, but
Oh,
then
okay.
behind me, my husband said winter is coming about a month ago.
Game of Thrones.
Winter is coming, and he was having anxiety because we throw every night outside and it's
Uh-huh.
cold. So he got online and got this tent, and then he took it to a different level where we have like these fake plant. It's like a botanical gardens, right? And then look at this. Look at the creepy pitchforks. What's up with those?
That is an awesome setup. I was trying to make heads or tails of what it is because it doesn't look like a garage, but now that you said it's a tent, I can
The
see
tent
that.
attached to the opening of a garage.
Oh, okay, that's huge.
Yeah,
So
it's like
I'm in the garage area. The tent
Yeah.
is behind me.
It's like an event tent, Mike. Like
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
weddings and
Technically.
Yeah. So we live on the water, and like if you go out, because sometimes we'll go just try to catch dinner,
Uh-huh.
because we can't afford real dinner because of the freaking tent. So when you go out there, I'm like, Bobby, it looks like a freaking wedding is being hosted at our house. This is
Every
fair.
day.
It does. In fact,
Every day of the week.
when we were visiting, we were out on the boat and we were like, I didn't know where we were. I don't, first time ever there. And they're like, oh, look, we're coming up to a wedding. And I was like, oh, really? Like, no, it's
I was like, no, it's our stupid house.
it's
our
our
house.
stupid house.
Well, we didn't own the tent then. At that point, the cicada,
renting.
we had a huge cicada problem. I don't know about you guys in North Carolina, but cicadas were like, you had to like Matrix style throw when you were outside because they would like swarm at you for about a month. And so we got the tent to avoid the cicadas while they visited because like I wasn't going to have Michelle come visit me for the first time ever and us not be able to throw bags.
Mhm.
So then that's when he got the hooked on the tent idea, and now winter is coming. So apparently,
Well, you got a
It's
good side hustle going. You could host weddings now. I mean, hell, you
Wait,
got a
but-
tent.
I wish you guys could see it. He's taking big paintings off the wall in my house and just putting them out here in the tent. He's getting a little ridiculous. Like I think
What?
like when you paint something and you should just be done with it because it's like looks great, but you keep going and then you ruin it.
Laura's
what
over here
he's doing.
dying. Oh god.
That's what he's doing.
Like we have a Ben
it's
Franklin
great.
American Revolution War huge ass painting. I walk by the hallway and I'm like, where'd that painting go? And then I walk out here and Ben's just, I don't know if you can see him. He's just chilling over there in the corner.
I'm digging it. I mean, it looks like you got hotel ballroom tables in there too. I mean,
Yeah.
you got a
And
setup.
he's got this face like this. And every time I get one off the board, I feel like he's judging me.
Ben's judging you.
Yeah,
For
I'm
sure.
gonna punch Ben in the face. The painting's gone. I'm over it. Over
Oh,
it.
well, look,
don't
ladies,
punch Ben.
before we wrap this up, I just want to say I appreciate you both taking the time out, coming on the show. Rob, you got
Yeah, good
anything?
I got something. Rob and April are coming on our show, and Laura. You both couples need to be on our show and different times. Maybe not all four. That's a lot of voices.
That's a lot.
For sure.
But if we send y'all the link, will you guys come on ours?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Love to.
Yeah, I want to hear more from
course.
Laura. I feel like she's got a lot to say.
Well,
You
you
see
know
what
what?
I'm
We
saying?
could
That's what
also
I've been
have you
saying.
on our other podcast. What was that, Rob?
That's what I've been saying. Laura's got a lot to say, and I want to hear it.
Yeah, you called that in the very beginning when we first logged on.
Well, it's a good
Laura,
thing we
what's
got
your
another
what's your
podcast.
handle? One more time. One more time, Laura. Handle.
89.
God, you
Wow, thank you, Rob.
Rob's kind of stalking you, I think.
You know what I'm telling you? Every episode, Rob makes a Laura comment. I think he might be your biggest fan, Laura. Next to
Well-
me, of course. I mean,
Oh, I
And
was going to
her.
say, if,
See how I say
if
that?
not you, it's got to be someone.
Well, look, we appreciate you ladies taking the time out. When do y'all release episodes?
Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time on the ACL 24-hour channel. First thing Thursday morning on our podcast and YouTube.
Is that every platform out there you can get your podcast? Okay, awesome. So if you're out there, if you're watching this, listening to this on one of our platforms, check out Girls Throw 2 podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast. Whitney, Michelle, thanks for being on the show. Definitely, we definitely want to be on your show. Me and producer Laura.
Love it.
Yeah,
definitely.
We're gonna get the real tea from Laura, I think.
That real, yeah.
I
We're
like
drinking
it.
tea right now, actually. See, this White Claw iced tea.
Mushroom tea?
Mushroom tea.
All right.
All
Hey,
right.
Rob, man, we'll
This
see you
is
on the next
real.
episode, brother.
Very good.
All right, ladies. Thanks. Hey, thanks for joining us on the Sticky Side. Like, subscribe on our YouTube channel, Naughty Doggy Productions, and you can download us anywhere you get your podcasts. Peace. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Oh.
Cause we all just wanna be cornhole stoppers, saying cheap hotels and driving beat up cars. The crowd gets crazy and the beers ain't cheap. We get drunk all day, so we just don't eat. And we hang out at the local bar, throwing bags in the hole like we have